Everybody knows that the dice are loaded. Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows that the war is over. Everybody knows that the good guys lost. Everybody knows the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor and the rich get rich. That's how it goes. Oh, everybody knows. Everybody knows that the boat is leaking. Everybody knows that the captain lied. Everybody's got this broken feeling like their father or their dog just died. Everybody's talking to their pockets. Everybody wants a box of chocolates and a long stem rose. Oh, everybody knows. Everybody knows that you love me, baby. Everybody knows that you really do. Everybody knows that you've been faithful, give or take a night or two. Everybody knows you've been discreet, but there were so many people you just had to meet without your clothes. Oh, everybody knows. And everybody knows that it's now or never. Everybody knows that it's me or you. And everybody knows that you'll live forever when you've done a line or two. Everybody knows the deal is rotten. Old Black Joe's still picking cotton for your ribbons and bows. Oh, everybody knows. Everybody knows that the plague is coming. Everybody knows that it's moving fast. Everybody knows a naked man and woman are just a shining artifact of the past. Everybody knows the scene is dead, but there's gonna be a meter on your bed that will disclose. Oh, everybody knows. Welcome to another episode of The Apocalypse. And by the way, congratulations for choosing The Apocalypse. In your idiocy, in choosing The Apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. I, unfortunately for me, am that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. It appears Mr. Abrego Garcia may be dead. I have several pieces of evidence regarding that matter. So let us get right to it. And now I got to find the beginning because I needed the lyrics to that song because that's a long lot of lyrics, man. I can't remember all that. It's not my song. Where am I at here? Where did I want to start? Oh, the satellite photo again for the millionth time. And that's not color enhanced or anything. Satellite photo of CCOT death camp in El Salvador from, I don't know, 3-4 days ago, something like that. And to start the day off, remember yesterday, I talked about Senator Van Holland from Maryland said first thing in the morning, he's going to fly down to El Salvador. And that's exactly what he did. And we're going to go through the day with that till we get to the good part. So this person said, this is one of the first things I saw, and it kind of spoke to me. This morning in watching Senator Van Holland board a plane to El Salvador, I can't help but think of Representative Leo Ryan's fateful trip to Guyana in 1978. I said that yesterday, I believe, to you good people, that I hope that that trip doesn't go like the trip to Jonestown when that congressman went. And I had forgotten their name. But we shouldn't forget their name because they're a fucking hero. That congressman that died in Jonestown. But let me get to that in a moment. Ryan traveled to investigate claims that people were being held against their will in Jonestown, and he lost his life doing it. This kind of work is real. It's dangerous. Senator Van Holland is willing to take a personal risk to stand up for the rule of law, wishing him safety and strength on his journey. Yes, these are killers that he's attempting to expose. Some of them are in our government. Because as far as I'm concerned, my personal opinion, I'm not saying I have verifiable evidence, but I'm not stupid. And I can tell what's going on. And as far as I'm concerned, from what I learned today, which we'll get to, I consider Abrego Garcia dead at this point. It's kind of fucking obvious. Therefore, and if no one leaves CCOT, therefore, it's a death camp. And I was one of the first ones using that phrase because I knew where this was going. I've been telling you where this is going since he got elected. So I begged you not to do it for 10 years to elect him again. So yes, Van Holland was going into enemy fucking territory all by himself. So did this man, Mr. Leo Ryan. I wanted to see which party Mr. Leo Ryan, and this is a picture of him. This isn't Mr. Van Holland. This is Leo Ryan. The brave motherfucker that went into the cult at Jonestown. Went into Satan's den, son. How many of you can say the same? Without fear, went into Satan's motherfucking den. Cost him his life, though. But the cult got taken down in the process. This man's a hero right here. And he died for it. Mr. Leo Ryan. Never forget that name. And he didn't go there with a gun in his hand. That means his balls are even bigger. Quickly on Leo Joseph Ryan Jr., May 5th, 1925 to November 18, 1978, was an American teacher and Democratic Party politician. That's what I was looking for. I was just curious. So a Democrat went into Satan's den last time, not the Jesus Party. A Democrat went into Satan's den this time, not the Jesus Party. The Jesus Party did go, but we'll get to that, but not for the reason you think, and they weren't in danger while they were there. Mr. Van Holland was. So again, Leo Ryan, Democratic Party, represented California's 11th congressional district in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1973 until his assassination hours before the Jonestown Massacre in 1978. Before that, he served in the California State Assembly representing the state's 27th district. Let's look at this man one more time because this man's a hero. He should be celebrated. Maybe that man's face should be on some money. Because that's an actual motherfucking hero who laid down his life to help vulnerable, innocent, very endangered people. And it cost him everything. That's what Mr. Van Holland was doing today. And here's the first message, or no, not the first. I just landed in San Salvador a little while ago, and I look forward to meeting with the team at the U.S. Embassy to discuss the release of Mr. Abrego Garcia. I also hope to meet with the Salvadoran officials and with Kilmar himself. He was illegally abducted and needs to come home. Yes, indeed, he was illegally abducted, and the government admitted they shouldn't have grabbed him and sent him to the death camp. So all arguments are moot at this point. I don't care what his background is, which is nothing, by the way. I don't care what you think of him. I don't care that he was illegal because the judge said he could stay. That's why they made a mistake when they took him. Because the government admitted they fucked up and this man shouldn't be there. So all arguments are moot. That means you got to fix your mistake and bring him back. We've been trying to get this done for a month. We keep getting excuses, ignoring court rulings, to the point a senator has to fly down there like it's fucking Jonestown, because it is, son. It's a death cult down there, just like in fucking Jonestown. So a senator had to fly down there because the Reich can't be bothered, and that's the point of the Reich, to send people to extermination camps. Literally. Wouldn't be a Reich otherwise, son. So he got there, and this is how I assumed it would go from last night. I probably said it on camera. I assumed they either wouldn't let him land in the country or they wouldn't let him in. They pulled a little trick, though. They sent some unknown Republican congressman there yesterday to tour the prison. I had no idea about this. No one, I don't think anyone did. But we'll get to that. And I consider that a strong piece of evidence of what's going on here. So Van Holland arrived and started his day. But now we're going to move to the Doge, theft of information. And I want to say something. This is one of the things I told you was happening before the evidence was out there. Again, the second talk of access to Social Security info, all the different agencies' info was discussed, and it got fought over in court and all that. The second that was mentioned, what did I say they want to do, and they're doing? Stealing our information. I literally said that many times before the evidence came out, because I knew what those scumbags were there to do. And a guy like Leon, the list of every American citizen and how much they make, and their, all that info, that is priceless to a business owner. Even more priceless to the Reich. Even more priceless to spies that want to give it to Russia. So I have a few pieces to read on this. Musk's Doge involved in what appears to be a foreign espionage operation and data theft. They also have death-threatened U.S. federal whistleblowers and disabled security systems, deliberately allowing Russian IPs to access sensitive U.S. federal government systems. Yes, you elected a group of traitors, rubes. This is the proof of it right here. Not that we didn't know before. You've just been trying to sugarcoat it in hopes you don't lose your future, your freedom, your children's future, and have to admit that you elected the fucking Antichrist and a bunch of Nazis. But you're going to learn that lesson. We're going to learn you that lesson the motherfucking hard way. Hold on, I got to fix my phone here. And the hard way is the Reich coming to your door, son. Be ye rube or not, doesn't fucking matter. You still got an appointment, son. And it ain't with me, it's with the Reich. I come later. A whistleblower's disclosure details how Doge may have taken sensitive labor data. Now, I told you yesterday, I read you the article, the whistleblower was stalked, intimidated, note left on his office door to intimidate him. They flew a drone over him while he was walking his dog and showed him the pictures. And they told him, basically tried to scare him into not talking. Why? Because they're fucking criminals. That's why. And they were committing crimes. And they're dismantling and looting your country and stealing all of your information. You're in there too, Rubes. Doesn't matter if you voted for them. They got your info. Everything about you, your kids, your wife, your grandma, everything. They've had it for a few months now. Now we get shit like this. Whistleblowers coming out saying they're installing backdoors. That's another thing I said to you. Once these cunts are in the system, putting their AI weaving the fuck through it, installing backdoors so God knows who can access the shit later. I literally said this. The IT team met to discuss insider threats, namely the Doge engineers, whose activities it had little insight into or control over. We had no idea what they did, he explained. Those conversations are reflected in his official disclosure. That's the whistleblower, I assume. They eventually launched a formal breach investigation according to the disclosure and prepared a request for assistance from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. However, those efforts were disrupted without an explanation, Baroulis said. That was deeply troubling to Baroulis, who felt he needed help to try and get to the bottom of what happened and determine what new vulnerabilities might be exploited as a result. Again, this is because of you rubes. Now this person is running around like a chicken with their head cut off, trying to protect you from you and the people you put in charge. This person wouldn't have to do this. They could just chill and do their job, and your shit would be fine. But no, you had to be a rube and vote rube. Now this shit's going on. Your information, son. In the days after Baroulis and his colleagues prepared a request for CISA's help, sorry, I'm still ill, investigating the breach, Baroulis found a printed letter in an envelope taped to his door, which included threatening language, sensitive personal information, and overhead pictures of him walking his dog, according to the cover letter attached to his official disclosure. It's unclear who sent it, but the letter made specific reference to his decision to report the breach. Gee, I wonder who sent it. Could it have been the Hitler Youth, the Doge people? Could it have been the ones that committed the crime? You think? Or did Leon send it himself? It's all these people know. Threats, intimidation, mob tactics. We're used to that here, though, aren't we? We dealt with the mob once before, didn't we? Well, I did most of the dealing with it, but you know what I'm saying. So he was threatened, intimidated, stalked, surveilled, etc. Within minutes after Doge assessed the NLRB systems, someone with an IP address in Russia started trying to log in, according to Baroulis' disclosure. The attempts were in near real time, according to the disclosure. What are they trying to say here? These cunts that you people voted for, and you know who I'm talking to, that are dismantling our country and are abject traitors, got literally caught with their hand in the motherfucking cookie jar. Not only their hand, Russia's hand. Why we Russia in every fucking facet of our politics the past 20 years. You fucking idiots. Again, you gave your country to a man called Vlad Putin. Unfortunately for Vlad, Donnie's the fucking Antichrist, so he'll turn on him too. But in the meanwhile, Vlad gets it all, baby. I mean, how stupid are you people that put your name on this? The man had 3,000 classified documents in the shitter. And I guarantee Vlad has copies of everything. And you voted for that again, not to mention the other 90 fucking things he's done. My God, people. So you have Russian IP addresses immediately after Doge touches the shit, trying to log in, and they got passwords, they got everything, son. How do you explain that? How do you absolve your orange bitch messiah of this? What mental fucking gymnastics are you gonna do in the trailer tonight to make this okay? And your orange bitch is responsible for all of it. And you're traitors by proxy. I've been saying that for 10 years. You voted for a traitor. What does that make you, son? This is incredible, man. Again, no one gets over on you, Rubes. Your whole country's already gone. Wait till you see what you lose now. Russia started trying to log in. According to Barulis's disclosure, the attempts were near real time. According to the disclosure, those attempts were blocked, but they were especially alarming. Whoever was attempting to log in was using one of the newly created Doge accounts, and the person had the correct username and password. According to Barulis, while it's possible the user was disguising their location, it's highly unlikely they'd appear to be coming from Russia. If they wanted to avoid suspicion, cybersecurity experts interviewed by NPR explained indeed. In other words, they're not even smart traitors. They let it be seen by someone who knows what it looks like that the Russians were literally trying to log in with correct information. But what stood out, Doge cunts destined for the lake, was the Russian IP address. So no, they weren't masking their real address with a Russian fucking address in classified systems. No, I don't think so. No, they're just so stupid. And everybody assumes that they're blitzkrieging these employees out so fast, they're not going to see none of this stuff. Good thing for us, a few of these employees are way smarter than dumbass cunts named Big Balls who just got out of high school and thinks he knows something. The Reich's going to learn about a lot of people that know a lot more than them and that are way smarter than them. And it's not going to be fun for the Reich. Not at all. They're learning it now. This person's way smarter than the entire Doge cunt team. Add fat ass Leon in that pile too. This guy's smarter than all of them. Combined, son. One more time, whoever was attempting to log in was using one of the newly created Doge accounts, and the person had the correct username and password according to Barulis. Gee, I wonder how they got that. Could it be the Doge traders, the cunt straight out of high school, gave it to them? While it's possible the user was disguising their location, it's highly unlikely they'd use a Russian IP address because that'd be stupid. That stands out like a fucking blaring siren. Less you a traitor! On their own, a few failed login attempts from a Russian IP address aren't a smoking gun. Those cybersecurity experts interviewed by NPR said they're not. They sure sounds like a smoking motherfucking missile to me. But given the overall picture of activity, it's a concerning sign that foreign adversaries may already be searching for ways into government system that Doge engineers may have left exposed. No, son, they didn't leave shit exposed. They gave the info away. Who do you think fucking Fat Leon works for? Who do you think Donnie works for? Who do you think Doge works for? Who do you think the country's being dismantled for right now till Donnie turns on him? That'd be Vlad. There's a reason all of our allies were alienated on purpose within 2 months. We want to shift trade to trading with Russia and the Saudis and Venezuela. Traded Europe and Canada for that. Because Donnie Shitbags is owned by a guy named Vlad. 1987, Donnie Krasnov. Let's continue, and I'll try to contain myself. When you move fast and break stuff, the opportunity to ride the coattails of authorized access is ridiculously easy to achieve, said Handorf. They don't need to achieve anything. Doge probably working with them. What he means is that if Doge engineers left access points to the network open, it would be very easy for spies or criminals to break in and steal data behind Doge. There's no reason a Russian IP address should be in these systems. In our sensitive U.S. government systems. All this excuse making or theoretical possibilities, no, they're not possibilities. No reason a Russian IP address should be in these systems. This ain't the internet, son. This is an Instagram. These are internal government systems. There's no excuse. It's straight up espionage, in my opinion. And it's obvious. He said he could also see foreign adversaries trying to recruit or pay Doge team members. Well, everybody else takes Russian money. Google does, Meta does, Leon does on his website, Donnie does. So many GOP politicians are. Why wouldn't Doge take the Russian money too? Again, who do you think your country's being dismantled for? Again, he said he could also see foreign adversaries trying to recruit or pay Doge team members for access to sensitive data. It would not surprise me if Doge is accidentally compromised. I'm saying intentionally compromised. That's my opinion. And it's obvious. I don't care if Jesus himself tried to explain away why a Russian IP address, seconds after Doge was in the systems, is trying to access with current passwords and login info. Even if Christ himself came down and told me that, oh no, it wasn't the Doge. They're not traitors. They're not spies for Russia. They're not taking Russian money. I wouldn't believe him. I'd say, I don't believe you, Jesus. I'm sorry. I know you're Jesus Christ, the Savior of all humanity. I don't believe you. That's how obvious this is, son. Are you fucking kidding me? Again, this ain't a random website. This is internal government computer systems. There's no other explanation for a Russian IP address except espionage. I'm sorry. But I've known Donnie's been working with Vlad since 2015. It was quite obvious. Russia, if you're listening, that was all the evidence I needed. That was a crime committed right on television in front of your face. Whatever. Too late now. It's over. While investigating the data taken from the agency, Barulis tried to determine its ultimate destination, but whoever had exfiltrated it had disguised its destination too, according to the disclosure. Doge staffers had permission to access the system, but removing data is another matter. What did I say? They're stealing your information. I said that way before this. And they're creating backdoors for later access for God knows who. You'll hear that too. Barula says someone appeared to be doing something called DNS tunneling to prevent the data exfiltration from being detected. This is a smart motherfucker. Any of the cunts on the Doge team wish they were half as smart as this person. He got their motherfucking number. He knew exactly what they were going to do. DNS tunneling to prevent the data exfiltration from being detected. He came to that conclusion outlined in his disclosure after he saw a traffic spike in DNS requests parallel to the data being exfiltrated, a spike 1,000 times the normal number of requests. This a genius motherfucker right here. Again, the Reich's going to come across more genius motherfuckers like this. It's not going to go well. Because they giving me real evidence, baby. I'm impressed. When someone uses this kind of technique, they set up a domain name that pings the target system with questions or queries. But they configure the compromised server so that it answers those DNS queries by sending out packets of data. Allowing the attacker to steal information that has been broken down into smaller chunks. This is brilliantly explained. I'm not a computer guy, and I understand this perfectly. Well done. That's why this motherfucker's a genius. We've seen Russian threat actors do things like this on U.S. government systems, said one threat intelligence researcher who requested anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak publicly by their employer. That analyst, who has extensive experience hunting nation-state-sponsored hackers, reviewed the whistleblower's technical claims. I am fucking impressed. I don't know what else to say. Except you rubes gave traitors and criminals access to all your info. They've installed backdoors. I said this a while ago, and they've stolen your information. Already done, already over. Then they tried to hide their tracks. Then they tried to give it to the Russians. Thanks, rubes. Judge opens contempt inquiry over deportation flights. This cracks me up, this contempt of court talk on the Antichrist. I convict her. I say the Antichrist is in contempt of court. Okay, now what? What happens? Absolutely fucking nothing. Donnie will laugh at this. Okay, we're going to go to this quickly. This is from Sporkfoot. That'd be Margie Sporkfoot of Georgia, her town hall, where people got tased. She mocked people as they got taken out of the room. It was a fucking dystopian fucking disaster with a manly ass bitch up there at the podium. Roiding like a motherfucker. So this person was there, and they're giving their testimony. I'm not one who speaks out often about politics, but I feel compelled to share my experience at the Margie Taylor Greene Town Hall. I call her Margie Sporkfoot. I registered and attended as a legitimate constituent in her district. Kevin and I sat quietly without disruption. But because we did not applaud and stand for MTG and her message, we were quickly targeted and videoed throughout the town hall by her volunteers, because I guess we seemed threatening. I witnessed people forcibly removed by police officers, for one, asking if there would be opportunities for questions, and two, for voicing disapproval for certain topics and yelling boo. This particular person was tased as he attempted to walk away. And by the way, there was plenty of yelling yay that seemed to be ignored. Number 3, for using profanity. This person was arrested. If someone voiced any slight dissent, police were quickly on top of them. Well, I use the word thugs for the Reich. That's all they are, in my opinion. If you can't yell boo at a congressman, we in Gestapo dystopian nightmare territory, son. When you're getting tased on the way out, we neck deep in dystopian nightmare territory. And Margie Sporkfoot was loving every minute of it, because she a cruel, sadistic, steroid manly bitch. Let's continue. We were accused of being paid Democrat protesters, and that's where the thing ends. I don't have the whole thing. We don't need the whole thing. You got the basic scenario. If you were a couple and you happen to be sitting at Margie's, I don't know what you call that, Reich rally, and you weren't expressing enough pleasure at her presence, well, then people started harassing you, filming you, making fun of you, yelling in your face. That's what this person just said here. That sounds like some Reich-like shit to me. How about you? Tom Homan, I watched this clip. A stammering Tom Homan is big mad at Senator Chris Van Hollen for going to El Salvador. Again, I don't understand all the animosity about a senator going down to El Salvador to try and get an innocent man that the government admitted was innocent and shouldn't be there, out of there. Why all the anger unless you have Satan? Literally. Why would you be mad about that? Unless Satan's your daddy. Mr. Holman, Satan's definitely his daddy. Here he is again. Just look at his face. Look at his countenance. And I heard him talk, and he has a lot of problems forming words. He sounds like one of those lifelong drunks, actually. He kind of looks like one, too. Very kind of red and blotchy and shit. And just always misery. This is misery, this face you're looking at. Literally. He's a mouthpiece for Satan, yelling about a senator trying to save a man from a death camp that our government admitted shouldn't be there. If you have a problem with that, what Mr. Van Hollen did today, Satan's your daddy, son. I hope you run away from home, though, and you don't talk to your daddy no more. For your sake, I get nothing out of it. My country's already gone, thanks to you cunts. Now we got guys like Tom Homan yelling about how dare we try and get that refugee that's probably dead down there. That's what you guys really mad about. You all know he's dead. And you know your name's on it. And your money paid for it. And you empowered demons like this person to kill that man. I wonder how many deaths you're responsible for. I wonder how many deaths Mr. Holman's responsible for and Donnie Shitbags. How many men that were sent down there are dead already? I guarantee it's more than one, son. Because as far as I'm concerned, Abrego's gone. And I hate saying that, but that's what they're showing me. When they got Holman on there talking the man down, the rhetoric you've seen the past week, few days, they keep escalating it. Do you understand why? It goes from he's a criminal to he's an MS-13 leader, to he's a terrorist, to he's a sex trafficker, human trafficker. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. You know why the lies get worse and worse and worse? Because they know he's dead. And they're trying to demonize the fuck out of him. So when that news finally comes out that this man is dead, and it will come out, I promise you, he'll be thoroughly demonized and you won't care. We've got some homegrowns that should be deported to an El Salvadoran gulag. Check out all the homegrown, all the jailbirds. Rudy Giuliani's in there, Donnie Shitbags, Roger Stone. So many convicted felons in these pictures. Sidney Powell, her ugly ass is in there. I don't know all these names. all Republicans. Bannon's another one. He's a jailbird. You guys really like jailbirds. You rubes in the Jesus party. You guys really love some rapists, some jailbirds, some terrorists. Yeah, because at the top here, there's a whole bunch of people scaling the wall of the Capitol. You know, like literal terrorists. And the guy that's responsible for those people scaling the wall, the guy who incited it and sat back and didn't get any help for anyone as police were being beaten. That's a convicted felon. And he's a terrorist because he tried to overthrow the government, literally. So, you know, if we're shipping off terrorists and convicted felons and the worst of the worst, Donnie shitbags. My God. So many criminals in these pictures. It's incredible. But you guys are the Jesus Family Values Party of Law and Order, right? Right. Okay, here's Leon trying to, he was trying to get an Asian influencer, an Asian female influencer, to have one of his children. That's really normal, right? And Ron Filipowski is saying, so this is basically a dating app for Elon. And this is why. You ready? Cryptocurrency influencer Tiffany Fong was covering disgraced crypto tycoon Sam Bankman-Fried's downfall when Musk started liking and replying to her posts. Musk's interactions ramped up as Fong posted more political contempt in support of Trump. And Musk followed her political content in support of Trump. And Musk followed her last summer, followed her account. That sort of attention from Musk on X, where he has 219 million followers, sent droves of followers to Fong, which was a financial boon. More engagement meant more earnings for her part as a revenue-sharing program for creators on X. During the height of her interactions with the billionaire owner, Fong earned $21,000 on the platform in a 2-week period in November, according to a screenshot she posted. That was about when Musk sent her a direct message. Here's the good part. Ladies, you're going to like this. That was about when Musk sent her a direct message asking if she was interested in having his child. According to people familiar with the matter, the two had never met in person. I wrote a whole long thing when I posted about this earlier. I said, picture it, ladies. The man never met you. He doesn't know you. He interacted with you a couple times online and followed your account. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get a direct message. Would you like to have one of my children? What would you ladies think about that? Is that normal behavior? Is that a bit forward, would you say? And not only forward, is it fucking weird? Because most men would be thinking more along these lines, okay? Most men, straight men, they just want to meet a woman and eventually have a physical relationship with her. And we all know what physical means. That's normal. Leon's some other breed, and I wonder if he's homosexual, and I don't care if he is. I just wish he'd admit it. His question to random women that he finds, I don't know, attractive, interesting, I don't know. Do you want to have one of my children that I can indoctrinate? Because I'm trying to build, a Reich army of indoctrinated children for the 1,000-year Reich. That's what this person's thinking. He's also thinking there's not enough white babies, so let's make some more. But it's not sex talk like normal men would do. It's, hey, baby, you want to have one of my kids through IVF or something? What the fuck? It's fucking strange. Again, he never met her before. And it's right to, yeah, you want to have one of my kids? Is that normal, ladies? Would that freak you out a bit? How about on the first date? We've actually met. We shook hands. We hugged. We went to the restaurant, and I just, hey, I was thinking, would you like to have one of my kids? That's after I met you. Imagine before we've even met. Holy fucking shit. This thing called Leon Scum, this Nazi, is so awkwardly, strangely, sociopathically weird. He like glitches in the middle of walking too, and just like Mike Myers does in the skits. He'll just fucking glitch out of nowhere. Like he's a fucking android or something. Which he may be, who knows? So yeah, it's a dating app for Elon, but Leon doesn't date in the normal way. He just wants you to be like carry one of his children for the Reich. Fucking weird, man. Imagine that's your life. Fucking video games and approaching random women to have one of your children. And you people, you rubes that voted for Donnie Shitbags, you knew Leon was part of the deal. Don't pretend you didn't now. Don't even try that bullshit with me. You know exactly what the fuck you were voting for. A globalist, an oligarch. And you said, you know what? As long as Donnie Shitbags gets in, I'm gonna vote for the package deal, the co-chancellorship like in 1933 Germany. You know it. You knew. Siggy time. You knew it was a package deal. Don't lie to people. Don't lie to yourself. You knew. Okay, this is that Dan Caldwell person that got escorted from the Pentagon, and I thought maybe he leaked like imminent strike packages like Hegseth did to the reporter, but no, he didn't do that. What he did is he leaked something about Hegseth. So immediate, you're gone. So this is what Ron Filipowski, this is how he characterizes it. He's going to be fired because he outed the fact that Musk arranged with Hegseth to get a top secret briefing at the Pentagon. Did you hear me, son? Now Leon's sitting in on top secret briefings. That's how much of a package deal you voted for. I knew that. I wish you would admit to yourself you knew that. Trump and his chief of staff didn't even know about it. As usual in Trump world, the person who does the right thing is the one who is punished. So this is the post about it. A senior U.S. official tells Fox that Dan Caldwell, senior advisor to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, was put on administrative leave today and escorted from the Pentagon following a leak investigation to include polygraphs launched by Hegseth Chief of Staff Joe Casper on March 21 after March 20 New York Times story detailed plans to allow Leon Scum to attend a briefing in the tank with members of the Joint Chiefs to hear about the future China war plans. So the Doge Hitler Youth are putting backdoors in our computer systems and giving that to Russia. And this guy, Hegseth, the guy who leaked a strike package to a reporter, is now letting Leon sit in on war plans regarding China. That was the plan. The guy that outed the plan, so you would know about it, Rubes, is now fired. That's the Reich in a nutshell, isn't it? This is a comment by someone. Doge putting backdoors in federal agencies for Russian IP addresses should be the lead story on every network tonight. Indeed. Indeed. That's your information. That's our government. That these traitor cunts called the Hitler Youth gave access to Russia. I hope that bothers you. I really do. Because if it doesn't, that means you don't give a shit about your country. Or the security of your family. Because now the enemy has your info. All of it. I mean, every fucking bit of it. They had it weeks ago. Backdoors, just like I said, just like I predicted, just like I told you before the evidence came out. Now the evidence is out. Trump is requiring the United Kingdom to get rid of laws protecting LGBTQ people before he will agree to a trade deal with them. What does that have to do with a trade deal with a foreign country? Why is Donnie trying to institute his philosophies on the entire world? It's almost as if he's the Antichrist. This doesn't even make sense. That's another country. That's another sovereignty. Why the fuck would he even suggest such a thing? Unless he's the Antichrist. And he wants to be world leader, not American leader. Hey, I mean, we're going to annex Greenland, Canada, maybe Mexico too, Gaza. Sounds like a guy that wants to be a world leader to me, doesn't it? Sounds like a guy who wants to own the world. Trying to extort damn near every region of the world you can think of, except for Russia. Yes, you voted for one of those maniacs. That can't be controlled. That's going to start World War III. Just like Hitler started World War II. That's what you voted for. The Antichrist. Literally. Oh, more press got banned from the White House. This is always good news. This always shows we're going in the right direction, right? When press gets banned. No, that shows us we're moving headlong into the Reich, into the dystopian nightmare where they burn books and ban dissidents and ban press outlets. Because they can't have the pesky truth getting in the way. You rubes might notice. Reuters, wire services including Reuters and Bloomberg News will no longer hold a permanent slot in the small pool of reporters who cover Trump, the White House said on Tuesday, as it moves to exert greater control over who gets to ask him questions and report on his statements in real time. Isn't it going to be great when it's only like podcasters like Tim Pool and Fox News? Well, Fox News might even get thrown out because Ducey's getting kind of uppity with Donnie lately and Miss Levitt lately, so Fox better be careful. But when it's just Fox News, Tim Pool, Chaya Skank, OANN, those are going to be some great press conferences, won't they? You know what? You're going to hear questions like, Donnie, you look great today. We love you, Donnie. How many people did you bomb today, Donnie? How many Gazans did you ship to somewhere else? How many people did you send to death camps today, Donnie? We like all that stuff. That's what we voted for. I keep seeing that comment all over the internet. It's probably mostly bots and trolls, not even Americans posting that. But if you are American and you posted that, again, you're putting your name on death camps. I wouldn't want to be you, son, when the man comes around. You know, the man you pretend to believe in. That man. So more press ban, that's great. This is Trump's concentration camp. Let's start using words that describe what it is. Indeed, it's Trump's death camp. He even wants to buy it with your money, of course, never his, and then lease it back to El Salvador. So it's literally going to be Donnie's camp and your camp. Your tax money is going to be sponsoring it. And they're building it way bigger so we can get, a couple 100,000 people in the death camps. You did that. Pat yourself on the back. And you might end up there. Next is the homegrown, son. How many of you got a record? How many of you are in jail right now? Then next it's people that aren't even in prison. That's coming after that. That could be you, son. after your tax money paid for the death camp. Isn't that great? After you voted for the death camp. Isn't that great? And I promised all the rubes and everyone else, it's coming to everyone's doorstep, be ye rube or not. So yes, this is Trump's death camp. And notice how the men are seated so close together, their genitals almost touch the man in front of them. That's normal seating in CCOT. When we look at the Republican that went there to head off Mr. Van Hollen at the pass, we'll see completely different seating arrangement. Judge Boasberg, the court ultimately determines that the government's actions on that day demonstrate a willful disregard for its order, sufficient for the court to conclude that probable cause exists to find the government in criminal contempt. Okay, so now Donnie's guilty of contempt. The Antichrist has a contempt charge. I'm sure that's going to slow him so down. Worthless at this point. That's why you can't give the keys to the vault back to the thief that tried to rob you 5 years ago. According to the whistleblower cybersecurity specialist Daniel Barulis at the NLRB, a person using a Russian IP address had the correct login credentials just minutes after they were created by Doge to access the government system in March. I'm reading that to you again. I duplicate some of the stories on purpose because they're that fucking serious. I want you to have it worded in several different ways, so maybe it'll sink in. This is about Leon again. So they named their kid after a historical figure who murdered his brother. Yes, Miss St. Clair, Leon's latest baby mama, she's going more public again. And we're going to quickly read some information here. Musk offered St. Clair $15 million and $100,000 a month in support in exchange for her silence about the child, who they named Romulus. Similar agreements have been negotiated with other mothers of Musk's children. Blockbuster by whoever is the reporting on that. We're going to get more into that in a minute. Back to Mr. Van Hollen. Van Hollen speaks to the press after meeting with El Salvador vice president about return of Kilmar. Okay, this is Mr. Van Hollen literally standing in El Salvador today. The video is on YouTube. I put the link in the post section many posts back. So this is after he talked to the people he needed to talk to. Mr. Bukele was chicken shit and wasn't even in the country for this. So Mr. Van Hollen had to deal with the vice dictator. I don't know his name. Who cares? It's just another demon destined for the lake. It's irrelevant. This is what the vice president told Mr. Van Hollen, who's trying to save an innocent man from a death camp, who's probably already dead. Mr. Van Hollen said he asked if he could get inside the prison, the CCOT prison. The vice president told him no. He said, okay, I don't want to tour the prison. I just want to see Mr. Garcia and verify he's okay. The vice president told him no. You should have come earlier. You should have arranged faster. Of course, it's all lies. I'm going to prove it's all lies in a moment. Made up a bunch of excuses. You can't see him. You can't talk to him on the phone even. He said, okay, if I come back next week, since you said I'm here too quick, if I come back next week, can I see him? Nope. Can't promise that. Mr. Van Hollen asked the vice president, okay, well, America, we don't have any evidence of this man being a criminal. Do you have any evidence of him being a criminal? And the vice president basically said no. So Mr. Van Hollen said, okay, if we don't have evidence and you don't have evidence, how about we let him out? No, can't do that. Mr. Van Hollen said, well, we'll arrange a way for him to get back to America. We can do that. Vice president said no. Not even a phone call. Didn't even have to let him in the prison. Van Hollen said, can I get some video chat with him? Phone call with him? Nope. Again, I figured last night when Van Hollen announced he was going, they weren't going to let him in the prison. In other words, I knew this was going to happen. But I needed it to happen. Because I said to you yesterday, I said, if Mr. Van Hollen is not allowed to speak to him, if we get no proof of life, no phone call, nothing, that tells me Abrego is gone. So I'm operating under that assumption from this point forward, that it's a death camp and Abrego Garcia is dead, and probably many other more men are dead that we sent there. Not we, you sent there. I didn't vote for this shit. So I'm going to operate under that assumption because there's no excuse to not let this man talk to him on the phone. There's no excuse unless he's dead. Only thing that makes logical sense. Also, the way Miss Levitt, Miss Bondi, Mr. Holman, and everyone else is out there trying to demonize the ever-loving fuck out of Mr. Garcia tells me he's dead. They know he's dead. That's why they're saying it. So when that news comes out, oh, he was a terrorist anyway. No, he was never a terrorist. The terrorist is the guy you voted for. The orange-faced guy with the load of shit in his diaper that you watched on television try and overthrow the U.S. government. That's the terrorist, son. Hate to break it to you. But you don't care about that. You don't care about lies. They don't bother you. You don't care about treachery, being a traitor to your nation. That doesn't bother you. Obviously. You don't care about terrorism against your nation because you voted for it after you watched it. Now we're at the point in history because of you rubes and the greedy at the top who wanted tax cuts, where this senator has to be in a third world fucking shithole next to a death camp asking if he can get in and check on a guy that was living in the United States that the government admitted shouldn't have been sent down there. As Donnie laughs, you laugh, Bukele laughs. That's what you've turned your country into. I hope you're proud of yourself. So again, Mr. Van Hollen also asked the vice president, well, if Abrego is innocent in your country and in our country, why are you still holding him? You know what the vice president said? Because America is paying us to. They're admitting the corruption. They're admitting how they do things down there. We're being paid to. What are you talking about? That's how corrupt they are. That was the only answer they could come up with. What does that mean? That means they'll take money to put any one of us in there. And they don't give a flying fuck. Van Hollen says the VP of El Salvador denied his request for a meeting or a phone call with Abrego Garcia. He said you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CCOT. I said I'm not interested in a tour. I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said maybe if the American embassy asks. That's bullshit. That's the runaround and you all know it. He's dead. And that's on your head. And your Orange Messiah's head and everyone who works for him. Down to the scumbag, ex-drug addict agents that grabbed this guy and sent him down there. In a bizarre moment, RFK Jr. exposes his own warped beliefs that autistic children will never pay taxes, never hold a job, never use a toilet unassisted. This is the Health and Human Services Secretary. Did you hear that, people with autistic children? According to RFK Jr., the heroin addict, the brainworm guy, the guy that sounds like he's got 8 frogs down his throat when he fucking speaks because of all the poison he's injected into himself, says that anyone autistic is worthless to society. That's what he's saying. Again, another monster you knew was part of the package, yet you bought the package. Yeah, that's a monster that would say that. There's plenty of autistic people that can still work, pay taxes, do all kinds of stuff. Besides heroin and cheating on their wives to the point they commit suicide. That's what the autistic people aren't doing. Mr. Jr., who disgraces the entire Kennedy family by the minute, every breath he takes. Oh, this is what happened to the Dow shortly after Mr. Van Hollen's visit. But to be fair, the Fed chairman, I believe, or someone from the Fed made a comment today. But I have a feeling, I just got this feeling. 900 points down. I believe it closed 700 points down. The Donny shitbags effect, the Reich effect. I thought to myself, maybe the captains of industry saw Mr. Van Hollen standing next to the death camp and said to themselves, oh shit, this guy's dead. They won't let him see him or talk to him. So we got a death camp and we've got a Nazi Reich in charge. That really lends for instability in the entire world and in the market. It's just a thought I had when I saw it went 900 down shortly after Mr. Van Hollen's interview. Just a thought I had. Maybe I'm totally wrong. According to the Wall Street Journal, Leon Scum asked crypto influencer Tiffany Fong over DM to have a baby with him. She turned him down. After she told others, he scolded her and unfollowed her on X. Her earnings on Musk's platform dropped significantly after she made $21,000 in just 2 weeks last November. Is there any bigger bitch than Leon? You're going to unfollow a woman because she won't have your baby? A random woman you just asked to get pregnant for you, as if you know her or something. I told you, the dude doesn't know how to be human. He sure likes these influencer girls, though, doesn't he? We're going to hear more about one in a second. Oh, this is Rolling Stone, and boy, did they get the title right on this one. Trump and Bukele bond over human rights abuses in Oval Office meeting. Indeed, bond over their mutual rights and exterminating people. Because again, as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Garcia's dead till I see some proof of life, man. They wouldn't let a U.S. senator even talk to him on the phone. That tells me all I need to know, son. Either he's in such terrible condition that he's almost dead, or he's dead. I'm betting my money on dead. And that was intentional. Intentional. Oh, yeah, and they can fly the president or the dictator of El Salvador here. But they can't fly Abrego. You know why they can't fly Abrego? Because he's dead, that's why. Ed Martin, Donald Trump's pick for U.S. attorney in D.C., failed to disclose 150-plus appearances on Russian state media. Russia again, around another fat fuck in the GOP, man. What does that tell me? That tells me this fat fuck is taking Russian money, and he's been for a long time. And Mr. Martin, I don't know if you remember his fat ass. He's one of the staunchest sycophants for Donnie. Vlad must have some good stuff on this guy. Yeah, he sends letters just to random people threatening to have them incarcerated. Uses the position to intimidate people. He's one of the worst sycophants. Probably as bad as Miss Bondi. Now we find out yet again, another person in the Reich or in the GOP is a paid bitch for Russia, just like Donnie fucking Krasnov. The guy that's threatening everybody else for the Reich. What have you rubes done? You'll see what you've done. It's getting closer to that point. Hey, we're already talking about death camps and dead prisoners. We're not even 3 months in, are we? Well done, Rubes. If you're okay with anyone being locked up in a foreign prison without due process, you're okay with you being locked up in a foreign prison without due process. That's how due process works. Do you get it now, Rubes? No, you don't get it. You will get it, though, when you're on the plane. Don't worry. I promise you. That's when it'll all come crystal clear. The whole MAGA revelation will truly happen. Truly. Air Force erases first female Thunderbird pilot's achievements from websites. Yes, if you're a woman that was in the military and you've achieved certain things, or you're a woman that is in the military, you do not count to the Reich. They literally take your achievements down off of websites. And he will hate the God of women. And he will hate the God of women. And he will hate the God of women. Here's some Leon Scum text messages with Ashley St. Clair about his reproduction goals. Are you fucking ready for this, son? To reach Legion level before the apocalypse, we will need to use surrogates. Musk refers to his offspring as a legion. Let me stop there. Legion, where does that come from in Musk's mind? Why does Musk use it? One, Legion is a group of demons for his daddy Satan back in biblical days. That's the real origin. Then, the Roman Legion. Everything Nazi Germany was based on Rome. In the end times, the new Rome, which is us. I've been saying we're Rome for 20 fucking years. I just felt it, baby. Now I know for sure. So everything Nazi was based on Rome. The formations Hitler did, the whole thing, the uniform, just everything. Based on Rome. The standards. Leon's basing his idea for this Reich full of children, indoctrinated white children. He calls them as a legion, just like a Roman legion. A reference to the ancient military units that could contain thousands of soldiers and were key to extending the reach of the Roman Empire. Yes, we all know this. Again, it's especially creepy and sociopathic and Nazi-esque. And it just proves he's a Nazi again, how he thinks. That's why I'm reading this to you, trying to show what's in the man's head and who he is. I told you I would show you way back who Zuckerberg is, who Leon is, who all these people are. During St. Clair's pregnancy, Musk suggested that they bring in other women to have even more of their children faster. To reach, this is a quote, to reach Legion level before the apocalypse, he said to St. Clair in a text message viewed by the Wall Street Journal, we will need to use surrogates. This is the level of sociopath you are dealing with. Funny he mentions the apocalypse, because Leon's a character in the apocalypse. Literally. And no, Leon, you're not going to have time to have all those kids you want to have. But you know this already. That's why you're saying things like this. One more time, Leon Scum. To reach Legion level before the apocalypse, we will need to use surrogates. He said this to a woman. President Trump is set to cut foreign aid by 75%, slash the State Department's budget by 50%, and strip funding from the UN, NATO, and over 20 international bodies. Notably, aid to top recipients, Israel and Egypt, remains untouched. So that's where we're at. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele plans to double the size of the mass prison where his government is holding U.S. deportees. You mean exterminating them? Because I ain't see no proof of life, son. He told Secretary Kristi Noem he has 80 plus acres that he's going to continue to build on. Guess what Noem said? This is a long-term solution, Noem the puppy killer said. What does that remind you of, class? For the two of you that studied history. This is a long-term solution. There was another guy who used a phrase called the final solution. If you don't know who used the phrase or what the final solution was, you need to go ask somebody. Because you should know. And why do you think she said it? They want us to see the cruelty. They want us to hear the cruelty. They want us to see the Reich. They want us to hear the Reich. They want to make the Reich normal. They want to make their demon selves and what they do normal. This is a long-term solution, Noam the puppy killer said, who boasted of the puppy killing in her book and then talked about shooting the president's dog. She was rewarded in Satan's kingdom by the beast called Donnie. And now she gets to say things like this about prisoners she does cosplay in front of for photo ops. She gets to say this is a long-term solution for these men. Long-term as in for life? Or long-term as in it will cost them their life? Is that what you mean, demon destined for the lake? That's exactly what you mean. Here's a reporter talking to Miss Bondi. Why not show the public the evidence? Bondi. Well, he is an illegal alien who has been living illegally in our country from El Salvador. He is not coming back to our country. A judge said he could stay. So all that's a lie, everything you just heard. All moot, especially after the government admitted again that he's not supposed to be there. We fucked up. But the evidence, we're not going to see the evidence? Bondi, we have the transcripts from the court hearings. Well, let me explain this to you, son, and Rubes. I can say anything about you in court. I can say you like to have sex with sheep. You had incest with your mother. I can say anything in court. Does that mean it's true? I can put it in a court document too, like the gypsies used to do. And smear you that way. And then leak it to the press. So I can say anything I want in a court of law. That doesn't mean it's true. That doesn't mean I'll prove my case. That doesn't mean I'll win. And boy, have authorities been known to embellish and lie sometimes. So the transcripts of court are fucking worthless. All that matters is a decision by the judge, son. And the decision was he can stay. And the government already admitted they shouldn't have sent him, and we fucked up. Too late for arguments now. Too late for cover-ups now. They've shown me all I need to see. The evidence consists of a cop's secondhand word that a confidential informant told him so. The same cop was fired later for lying about a separate case. Yes, the cop who had the informant that said Abrego was like the leader of the East Coast MS-13 that lived in a state Abrego had never lived in. That cop was suspended or fired or both for misconduct. The only other evidence is the dude wore a bull's hat. If he committed crimes in America, an easy recourse would be to extradite him. We have an extradition treaty with El Salvador, but that's not the reason, indeed. They have no evidence against him. No one does. This is Rep. Riley Moore, and I had no idea. The GOP, they scrambled up one of the worst sycophants, and they said, hurry the fuck down to El Salvador, because Van Holland's going there tomorrow. And we're going to show these pictures and let everybody know about the trip after Van Holland goes. So we can all laugh how they made Van Holland stand outside the prison, but they let the traitor from the Reich right in. The excuse from the vice president of El Salvador, or should I say the vice dictator, the excuse was that Van Holland didn't give them enough preparation time for the arrival, for the visit. Yet this cunt got right in the day before. Let me blow it up a little larger. This cunt will go in the history books. This picture will go in the history books of the man who lied for two dictators. So again, this cunt is named Rep. Riley M. Moore. And I'd call him a cunt to his face. Happily. He is posing with thumbs up in front of Seacott Prison as the prisoners are stacked in there like I don't even know what to say. Let's look at that again. Would you want that picture of you to exist in this reality? Would you want to explain that picture of you to the man when he comes around? I sure as fuck wouldn't, son. I would know ahead of time. As the Fuhrer was asking me to fly down there and be the mouthpiece for Satan and the Reich. And say, go down there and do the thumbs up and everything. I'd be like, yeah, I can't do that. I quit, sir. Sorry. I'm not Satan. And I don't want to have to explain that to the man. Because I know where this gentleman's going. I promise you. He's going to wish he was back in that death camp when the man has a word with him. The man you pretend to believe in and the man he pretends to believe in. As he's thumbs up on a fucking death camp. Paid for by your money, men sent there by you and Donnie shitbags. Again, folks, I would not want this on my head. It may get you a house and a car in this life, son. Guess what it gets you in the next? The one that matters. Because all this bullshit, erased. This is the imperfect entropy of what was supposed to be. That we fucked up, man and woman. And now we're here. Where cunt GOP shills for our enemies, namely Russia, stand in front of the death camp in 2025 and give the thumbs up and don't lift one finger to get some proof of life that Mr. Garcia is alive. Do you hear what I'm saying? That tells me he's dead. This little fun and games they're all laughing about as he walks through the Seacott prison and doesn't even give one thought to letting the world know if Abrego's still alive or not. That's not the point of this. The point of this was to let him in so Bukele and the rest of the world, the people that are of Satan, could have a laugh as the Democratic senator had to wait outside. That laugh is going to cost you, son. Do you hear me? The man heard that laugh. Do you hear me? The man heard you laugh about this. I fully understand now. For years I wondered. In the midst of the story called Revelation, there's a story being told, and then it just stops. And there's this warning. Right about the point we're at right now. And it goes like this. He who is for captivity, into captivity he goes. I'm talking about death camps on camera every night in 2025. Right at the point of the story where that quote is. What is this cunt's name? Riley M. Moore. Mr. Moore. He who is for captivity, into captivity he goes. Remember that when you're crying on the banks of the lake, son. Here's another picture, because, you know, Mr. Moore had to get multiple angles. Really please the Fuhrer. Really make a mockery of all this. You see the little shred of his soul that he still had slipping away through his facial expressions, don't you? He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing is pure fucking evil. It's written all over his fucking face. They put this gentleman in front, I believe, because the MS is on the chest, very clearly visible, and the 13's in the middle, being covered by the bars. But I noticed something about this gentleman. This former gang member. Or at least that's what the tattoos portray. He looks emaciated. In fact, a lot of the guys in the room do. I can tell by the way the fat's hanging. He looks like he's not being fed very well. I can see the trap muscles very distinct. I can see the tendons coming down from the neck to the collarbone. The collarbones are exposed sharply. The shoulder blades are exposed sharply. He's emaciated. So are a lot of men in this picture. There's a few men, if you look closely, that have a little bit of weight on them. They're probably some newer arrivals. Or maybe they were fat when they got there. This guy looks emaciated, and so do a lot of the other ones to me. This, oh, look how nice and neat they present it when the representative from the Reich is there, and they want to put these photos out to make you feel good about it. Remember the other picture I showed you an hour ago? Where everyone was balls to butt, no room, all over each other. That's how they assembled the prisoners. Now when Mr. Riley Moore is there, look, everyone's got space. They can sit Indian style. They got their t-shirts on. They're not shirtless. They're not in their underwear. They're not being humiliated. It's too late, though, death camp workers. You already showed us the real pictures. That's how I know this isn't the real picture. This is not how the men are treated right here. They're treated like that other picture where everyone's half naked, all draped over each other. That's how they're treated. Not like this. Look at this one more time. Not like this where they get space and room like a human being. So this was a total fucking farce. They rushed this guy down there the fucking day before, on the 15th. That's what baffled me. I looked at Mr. Moore's post. It had the 15th on it. I'm like, they rushed this guy down there yesterday? Before Van Holland got there today? Really? That tells me all I need to know. Also, they wanted to make a joke of it. Did this Mr. Moore make one attempt to get any information on Mr. Garcia to let us know if he's alive or dead? Absolutely not. Again, that tells me all I need to know. Mr. Van Holland not being allowed access, not even as much as a phone call with the man. Tells me all I need to know. Miss Bondi out there gritting her teeth and telling lies about Abrego Garcia, calling him a terrorist. Tells me all I need to know. Donnie and Bukele doing a little song and dance. We can't bring him back. We have no power. All of a sudden. Tells me all I need to know. The vice president's excuses. Tell me all I need to know. The fact that they'll take 6 million and take any human being and throw him in a death camp. Tells me all I need to fucking know. So the man's dead, in my opinion. And it's fucking obvious. By this little stunt with, what's this cunt's name again? Riley Moore. So forgettable. Every cunt for the Reich. So fucking forgettable. One more time, they rushed a Republican congressman down to CCOT, let him in, no problem, come right in. The Democratic senator was not even allowed so much as a phone call. Didn't even want to tour. Didn't want to take selfies. Like Mr. Riley Moore. Because guess what the man's going to show Mr. Riley Moore when he's weeping at the banks of the lake? Guess what Mr. Moore's going to see? These pictures of him at CCOT. That's what he's going to see. Of course, the pictures will be rather blurry because Mr. Moore will be in tears. Because shortly after that moment, that will be the end of his existence on any plane. And it'll be as if he never been. Again, like the movie I explained to you. You people whose names are blotted out. It's like you never existed. It's like you were dead before you were born. That's Mr. Moore. Again, it's like the movie Heat. De Niro. There's a dead man on the other end of this fucking line. That's you. But in the eternal sense, in the sense that matters. Because again, all we have around us and all we are is naught but entropy, degrading by the second. This is not what God intended. He intended something perfect. Man and woman fucked it up. And they're still fucking it up. And Mr. Moore is doing the best job I've seen lately. Here's Mr. Moore, who I blocked today. Because I don't want members of the Reich popping up on my feed. This is someone else that directed me to it, though. I just toured the CCOT prison in El Salvador, and I looked down, and it says April 15 on it. I'm like, oh, shit. This maximum security facility houses the country's most brutal criminals, including murderers, rapists, pedophiles, and terrorists. Several inmates were extremely violent criminals recently deported from the U.S. I leave now even more determined to support President Trump's efforts to secure our homeland. He's not securing anything. He's starting a death camp. And the goal is to get to you and me. That's why the next group of people going are the homegrowns, U.S. citizens. That's so it can get to you eventually. And again, all these stunts, Miss Bondi, Mr. Moore, Mr. Van Hollen not being allowed in, the stunt by the vice president, it tells me the man's dead. Eventually that information will come out. It will not be good for the Reich, and it will prove every damn thing I'm saying. What took place today should prove every damn thing I'm saying. I already read you the evidence on Doge, doing exactly what I said they were doing, installing backdoors and stealing your information. Literally, that's what was said in the information I presented to you. I told you that ahead of time. I told you there'd be concentration camps. I didn't think less than 3 months in, we'd already be talking about a dead man they sent there. And now they're trying to hide it. Woke up to read the U.S. tariffs on China are now up to 245%. Because the 145% yesterday just wasn't high enough. Yes, Donnie is chaosing your country on purpose. And he wants the dollar worthless so he can get you on that Donnie coin. With the fight on it. And class, what number corresponds with the letter F? Count it off on your fingers. And then realize There's 3 iterations of the same word, all beginning with F. Count it off, class. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Count it off. You'll figure it out. I am your guide, or am I not? I must tell you these things. This is a little bit about the prison. El Salvador preparing to expand its mega prison to hold 80,000 people, expecting the U.S. to send enough to fill it. Let's read these 2 pieces really quickly. Opened in 2023 to house up to 40,000 inmates during Bukele's crackdown of El Salvador's gangs, the facility currently holds roughly 15,000, including hundreds of alleged gang members the Trump administration recently deported from the U.S. Doubling the prison's capacity would create space for a total of 80,000. Wow, you're going to double the capacity. Maybe they don't need to double anything. Maybe they just take you to an oven or something. And then some space opens right up. That's what I'm thinking. So I have a feeling the money will be pocketed and people will just go to the same camp and we'll just never hear from them again because they're dead. We have no plans to bring them back. This is a long-term solution, Noam told the Journal. Again, long-term solution. Kind of sounds like the final solution, doesn't it? He has plans to double the size. He has 80 plus acres there that he's going to continue to build on. That's great news for the puppy killer. She's excited. On the banks of the lake, though, she won't be excited. She'll be crying. And she'll see those photos of her posing in front of the prisoners. But again, those photos will be blurry from the tears. I promise you. 1 in every 57 Salvadorans in the country of 6.3 million is incarcerated. Triple the rate of the U.S. and the highest in the world. We already incarcerate more people than any other country. El Salvador, triple. Doesn't sound like a dictatorship. Doesn't sound like a dystopian nightmare at all, right, guys? 1 in 57 in prison. Up to the U.S. to send enough to fill it. Any prison expansion would likely be geared up toward holding more foreign inmates. Noam, who posed in front of rows of tattooed inmates during her visit to the prison, said Salvadoran officials told her the prisoners deported from the U.S. were treated better than local inmates. Not from the pictures I've fucking seen, son. They don't look like they're treated better at all. And the commercials for the fucking place. Are you fucking kidding me? Again, the Reich trying to dress up a death camp as if it's a better place to be. My God, these people are so evil. And your name is on it, son. I hope you remove your name for your own sake. Or your name will remain blotted out of the book. And you know what book I'm talking about, don't you, class? Here's Miss Levitt, a.k.a. Skeletor. In a shocking clip, Carolyn Levitt says if Abrego Garcia ever ends up back in the U.S., he would immediately be deported again. Nothing will change the fact that Abrego Garcia will never be a Maryland father. He will never live in the USA again. That's a quote, son, that your name is on. One more time. So you can fully appreciate the abject evil. Nothing will change the fact that Abrego Garcia will never be a Maryland father. He will never live in the USA again. This man probably dead right now when she said that. And she's partly responsible. She's up there at the podium saying how great it is that he'll never be a Maryland father. Holman was out there as well, the other demon, saying if he ever comes back, we're going to deport him immediately. Again, they're setting the stage for just continually hiding the fact that he's dead. This, again, Miss Bondi, Miss Levitt, Gnome, pure evil. I don't think there's any coming back for them. And they're all too happy to do the business of the Antichrist. The literal Antichrist. My God. Again, I would not want my name on what this thing just said. When the man comes around, I would not want to have to explain that. I wouldn't want to explain why I voted for it, why my name's on it as well. I'm glad I don't have to. Of course, I have my own sins, don't worry. But at least I can say my path did not lead me to worship of the Antichrist, to voting for him 3 times after he tried to overthrow our nation, and the million other crimes. And I can also say I didn't take the mark, sir. You won't be able to say that. So whatever my sins are, at least there's a chance for me. There's no chance for you unless you take your name off this shit. Trump waved off Israeli strike after divisions emerged in his administration. This was a setup article for the next article, which I knew the headline would be Donnie the Peacemaker. Second I heard this is Donnie and Bibi trying to set Donnie up as the great peacemaker as we're bombing Yemen right now. Right now. And we bombed Somalia in February. And we're talking about bombing Iran. And we're talking about annexing Greenland, Canada, Panama Canal, Suez Canal, extorting Egypt, extorting Europe for use of the Suez. So this is a contrivance for Donnie to claim he's the peacemaker, meanwhile, as literal bombs are falling on Yemen. As he talks about owning Gaza and building a resort. As he sends people to death camps and makes sure they stay there forever, even when the government admits they're not supposed to be there. Okay, this is more about Miss St. Clair and Leon Scum. Leon Scum's baby mama Ashley is taking her fight public via the Wall Street Journal. Let's read these 2 quick pieces. While she was pregnant, Musk had urged her to deliver the baby via cesarean section and told her he didn't want the child to be circumcised. Musk has posted on X that vaginal births limit brain size. I remember that post. And that C-sections allow for larger brains. St. Clair is Jewish, and circumcisions are an important ritual in the religion, and she decided against a C-section. He told her she should have 10 babies, and they debated the child's middle name. Another influencer, by the way, that's who this woman is that now has this child. And I'm going to guess, this is just a guess by me. The reason Leon didn't want to acknowledge this specific child is because he had it with a Jewish woman. Leon is a Nazi. Now, that doesn't mean Nazis didn't find Jewish women attractive and rape them and sleep with them. Of course they did. But they didn't want to acknowledge to the fellow Nazis and to the world at large that they slept with a Jewish woman. That's taboo in the Reich. You don't want that knowledge getting out. Then you lose, Reich credibility with all the Nazis and incels in this country. Oh, he's sleeping with Jewish girls and having kids with them? Oh, we don't like that. We thought he was the leader of the Nazi movement. He did the Sea Kyle and everything. Now he's sleeping with Jewish women. He's got Jewish son. He's got a son with Jewish blood. Oh, we don't like that. So I'm assuming, again, this is just my opinion, I'm assuming the reason why he wouldn't sign the birth certificate, wanted her to keep it a secret for the rest of her life, literally, was the fact that she's Jewish. That's my opinion. He's single, ladies. Get in line. On Thursday, the Journal contacted Leon Scum for comment for this article. On Friday, the next day, St. Clair didn't receive her scheduled child support payment from Musk, she said. Late on Tuesday, she said Musk's team sent her $20,000, halving her stipend again, the richest man in the world, because she talked to the Wall Street Journal. They called Leon Scum. The next day, he didn't pay her. Then he cut her payment in half. Richest man in the world, child support. Didn't even want to sign the kid's birth certificate. Tried to get her to keep it a secret forever. And Leon makes these deals with these women and then nickel and dimes them on child support. So any woman that goes through this hell with him and has this child, you're just an idiot. He's going to attempt to not pay you. He did it with every one of these women. That's why several of them had to literally go public on the website, Twitter, to get his attention. Hey, you want to handle this child you asked us to have? 2 of his baby mamas within 2 days. That's the level of scum in Leon Scum. The timing and reduction in payments from him are timed with disagreements on testing and gag orders. Indeed, he's done this before. The only conclusion we can make is that money is being weaponized. Well, indeed, that's what he does with these women. He talks you dumbass women into having his child. Then he ignores you, tries to pay you as little as possible to raise the child. And some of you, he has to keep it secret and stay up in a fucking apartment for the rest of your life and never come out. So why would any woman want to go through this with him? Get nickel and dimed on child support by the richest man in the world who's grifting billion-dollar contracts of your money from Donnie shitbags every 3 seconds. Why would any woman want to go through this with him? St. Clair's legal fees have exceeded $240,000, Rosenthal said. I assume Leon will be paying that in the future. Okay, now here's the second headline regarding Donnie. President Trump reportedly rejected Israel's plans to strike Iranian nuclear sites as soon as next month in favor of diplomacy and peace. When they say peace and safety, that's when sudden destruction comes. Again, Donnie's been wanting to be seen as a man of peace since he got inaugurated. Vlad's not being very, very cooperative. So he needs little bits of theater like this with Netanyahu, right before he clears out the Gazans and builds a resort with gold Donnie statues and a temple. And you realize, class, I don't know if you realize, the resort's just an excuse to build the temple, to get the construction equipment going, to get the military in there. The resort's just an excuse to build the temple. Of course, they'd make a little money with that, but Donnie could fucking care less. He's got the ultimate grift. He's got the presidency, son. The kings of the earth are laying tribute at his feet, as if he were like the Antichrist or something. And who else but the Antichrist would want gold statues of himself on the Holy Land? We didn't even see Hitler do that, did we? That's why he was the amateur Antichrist. This is the real one. Who else? Did Obama want gold statues on the Holy Land of himself? Nope. Did Obama leave when he was supposed to? Yep. Can't say the same for Donnie. I've never heard of another world leader in modern times wanting gold statues of themselves. Quite strange. Almost as if it's like supernatural or something. IRS is said to be considering whether to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status. So Donnie has already put the proclamation. The Fuhrer has given instruction to the IRS. They will now proceed to go after Harvard and persecute them for not kissing Donnie's ring. That's where we're at in the modern Reich of America. Thanks to you rubes, and thanks to the greedy at the top who wanted the tax cuts. BYU PhD student Suguru Onda just had his student visa revoked without notice. He's being told to go back to Japan within 15 days because of his alleged criminal history. But he only has 2 speeding tickets and a fishing citation from 2019 that was dismissed. Damn, they even fucking with Japanese students. And they ain't even using the Israel excuse this time. They're saying he's a criminal for speeding tickets. No, the criminal's the orange-faced guy you guys voted for. Remember? Convicted felon. And he's the one behind deporting this man. A Japanese student. PhD student. Because of speeding tickets? I don't even understand this. They just want numbers, man. They just want numbers they can throw in front of the rubes. Because everyone knows, Donnie especially, the rubes don't care if these people live or die if they end up in a death camp, I don't know, in El Salvador or something. The rubes could care less. And that's why you lost your country, son. And that's why some of you are going to lose your freedom as well. You'll be the one on the plane. You'll see. Happens every time in every Reich, every authoritarian movement. And I've saved this for last. Miss Bondi went on Fox News and basically said Garcia's wife and the state of Maryland and the United States are better off without Abrego Garcia. She's saying this as this man is most likely dead. That is evil, son. If you don't know that's evil, that's not my problem. That's not the man's problem. That's fucking evil. We had Miss Levitt, Skeletor, saying he will never be a Maryland father again. That is evil, son. Miss Gnome, a long-term solution. That is evil, son. Taking selfies in front of emaciated prisoners in a death camp. That's fucking evil. Many names will be blotted out. One more time, Miss Bondi said Miss Garcia will be better off without her husband, as I personally believe her husband's dead right now. These demons are saying that. A senator had to go down there and be told he can't even have a phone call with the man. He's dead. They did it. They know they did it. They're trying to cover it up. And they're demonizing him to a level that's just fucking preposterous. In anticipation of it coming out that he's dead. So these people, as far as I'm concerned, my personal opinion on it, are lying about the dead, who they're responsible for making dead. Demonizing the dead. If the dead person was a demon, I understand demonizing them. This person is not. The only demons I see are Miss Bondi, Miss Levitt, Donnie Shitbags, and you, who put your name on this, who laugh as a man goes to a death camp and dies. Just like what Adolf Hitler would have done to him. You laugh at that. You applaud it. You still have your name on it. Again, little children, I wouldn't want my name on it. So we have Mr. Homan saying he'll be deported immediately if he comes back, so what's the point? We have cunt-ass Congressman Moore down there giving thumbs up in front of emaciated prisoners, not even spending one moment or a bit of effort to find out if Abrego Garcia is alive. That tells me he's dead. We've got Miss Bondi and Miss Levitt utterly demonizing with abject lies a dead man that they're partly responsible for making dead. Got Senator Van Hollen, who has to stand there and be told when he knows damn well the man's dead that he can't even talk to him on the phone. And America has a bunch of straight out of high school cunts stealing your information and giving it to the Russians. Just like Nikki predicted. And leaving back doors for later access. You've got a Reich complete with Nazi salutes, banning of books, demonizing of minorities and women, and gays, and immigrants. You have talk of annexation of Greenland, Canada, Panama Canal, Suez Canal. We have talk of extortion of Europe and Egypt. We have alienation of every ally in service of Vlad Putin, our literal enemy, the person that wants to see your children and you starving as you willingly hand over your country to him. And to a fat South African oligarch who throws up Nazi salutes and is too much of a pussy to own it. Who cries the next day when we point out that, hey, you just did a Nazi salute, man. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. One more time, what does the Nazi salute mean when you throw it up, little children? Fat South African oligarchs who lived in their daddy's bubble their whole life and never had to work or do anything. It says you believe in extermination of anyone you find undesirable. It means you don't believe in any rule of law. You believe in the Reich says what's right, and you don't have to live up to that standard. You do whatever you want. It says you can rape whoever you want, kill whoever you want, take anyone's assets that you want, take any country that you want. It says that you think somehow you're supreme over other people, genetically, mentally, whatever. And all I see in Leon is a daddy's boy who, you know, was given a bunch of money and a visa to go to school, drops out immediately, starts a business with his daddy's money. Never did nothing in his life of any significance. All he did was grift. And the performance of the Tesla stock is all the proof I need to see as far as the grift. He'd be nothing without welfare from this country. So much of your money has propped up this worthless fat fuck. As he dismantles and loots your country. And they don't want you to complain about it. They get mad when you complain about it. How dare you complain as your social programs, Social Security, etc., get dismantled? How dare you complain as every right you had gets stripped away by the second? How dare you complain as we're deporting people to death camps, and now we're talking about deporting U.S. citizens to death camps? How dare you complain when they throw up a Nazi salute? How dare you complain when Donnie lies his face off and grifts billions using the presidency? How dare you complain when he goes on his golf outings at his own hotels with his whole entourage charging the taxpayer millions every time that goes right in his pocket? How dare you complain when we ship people to death camps? Just let us do it. Just let us install this Satan-inspired Reich. Just let us take everything you held dear from you. How dare you complain about it? Donnie and Leon are grifting here. And they're trying to exterminate a lot of people. Because they both want to be Caesar of the world. I wonder which one will take the other one out. To really claim that Caesarship. I'm thinking Leon's the one that's going to go down. Because Donnie's a lot more ruthless. And he's done it before. What more do you need to see to believe? What more do you need to see to take your name off this? One more time, Miss Bondi, one of the eagerest beavers for the Reich, saying that Mr. Garcia's wife and child are better off without him as he's deceased. That's what you have your name on. Death camps. Set for U.S. citizens soon. I'm glad I don't have my name on it. Until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.